Hello everybody, CamAlot here, bringing you Thief, the 2014 edition. I believe this game came back in February. Came out back in February. Ugh. Me and my horrible grammar and horrible enunciation as usual. Back on track anyway. Thief was kind of but you know what? I gave up on this game, and ever since then, it's been calling me back to it. I don't know why. Plus, also, you know, what little I enjoyed out of this game will be amplified by the fact that I'm gonna make a video out of it, a video series anyway, a playthrough. I never did beat this game, so now is a good time more than ever to beat it. I don't remember everything that happened in this game, but I'm telling you this for the sake that, like, I'm not gonna pretend like I haven't played this before. I played, I think half of the game. I got up to chapter 6. I don't know how many chapters are in this game, but yeah. And you know, as a fan, I'm a huge fan of the original Thief trilogy, and what this delivered was kind of, you know, not entirely faithful, but at the same time, I am told that this is technically in the future of Thief, like 500 years or something like that. You play as Garrett, but not the original Garrett, is basically the premise of this game. And yeah, well, let's go and get into it. I've been looking for a reason to go back to this game, as I said, and yeah, I think this is more than ever the best reason to come back to it. Alright, last time I played on Rogue difficulty. Opponents are weak and less aware, resources are low and cost and plentiful. So let's go ahead and do on just normal Thief mode. A normal balance for accomplished thieves who like a little risk with their reward. Opponents are competent and aware, and resources are affordable and available. Now, if I do a successful run of this, I could possibly, maybe, I'm not promising anything to those who, the few who would like to see this, I may go back and go ahead and do a master mode, or even a custom absolute, like, as hard as it can get mode. But for the most part, let's just go ahead and, for our first run anyway, we're going to go ahead and do this on Thief, the normal difficulty. That's how I'm going to go ahead and play most of my games, to be honest, just on its normal, quote-unquote, how the game was meant to be played difficulty. Peer through keyholes to see what's on the other side of a door. Hold square when looking at door handles. Cool? The slower you move, the less noise you make. Alright? Now, one of the things that turned me off about this game, and you won't see it from me watching me play, but trust me, it's a huge feel, is that it just feels like a chore just getting around from place to place. You can replay chapters and clan jobs once they are completed. Okay, cool. If a patrol is in your way, use your tools or the environment to draw their attention elsewhere. I'm just going to say this right now. Except for a very, very specific type of enemy, a non-human enemy.
There's
non-human?
one thing
I think so.
taught me.
I got the subtitles on so you can read this while I'm going on. I've already played this for the most part, so I wouldn't be paying attention until after chapter 6 onward. Anyway, back on track here. I'm gonna go ahead and keep talking. Like I said, the whole point is I'm gonna play this game on what I call no murder. That's the classic Thief way, where you don't murder a single enemy. You simply avoid them or knock them out non-lethally. So that means I will not be using anything worse than a broadhead arrow. No sawtooth. A sawtooth is a lethal arrow. I'll be blackjacking a lot. I love blackjacking. And let me just steal everything this guy has. You want me to tuck you in? You want me to... I can give you what you need. Okay, I'm gonna take what I want, because that's the Thief way. We're gonna steal some pens here. Ooh, some fancy ass pen. Ooh, steal your flask here. Flask? Yeah, you don't need to drink anymore. That's probably the whole reason you're getting robbed. So you know what? I'm doing you and myself a favor. Ooh, missed something. Okay. So yeah, the traditional veteran thief players, the badass ones. I'm not gonna try and differentiate anybody. It's like, oh, you're not a real Thief fan unless you do it this way. No, this is just how most Thief fans do it. Me being most Thief fans, is you go through the entire game without knocking out a single subject. Pretty cool, right? Okay, I guess. Oh, that's right. We climb out through the window, and you know, that's because that's what it means to be a thief. You're not a murderer. You're a thuff. I ain't gonna lie. Graphics, they're not that pretty to look at, but I will say for the fact that, oh yeah, if I didn't complete this thought earlier, forgive me, the one thing that kind of turned me off about this game, now that I remember I was talking about it, is it hurts to navigate everywhere. It feels clunky, it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel smooth like it did in the original Thief games. I love the original Thief games. Thief 2 is probably one of my top 10 games, if at least top 10, 20 games of all time. Sudden movements near birds will disturb them, alerting anyone nearby. Okay, so you gotta be quiet around birds, otherwise they'll squawk and alert their masters. And, you know, it's... Yeah, no kidding.
Painting's more my taste. I should take a closer look.
Oh yeah, this is a cool feature. And, you know, it's just one of the things that eventually turned me off this game. It hurt, because the city now acts as a hub, which is what I've always wanted in a Thief game, but it just hurts to navigate everywhere. Sweet, there we go. Lockpicking, one of my favorite pastimes in a video game, to be honest. There we go. Anyway, what was I talking about? I'm talking about like four different things at once. I'm losing my train of thought every freaking time. There we go.
What the?
What the?
Well, they do call the
oh yeah, right. I remember now. Okay, so get ready to meet quite the annoying character, to be honest. But oh well, right? Ooh, wait, I don't remember this. Oh, rope arrow. Oh wait. Okay, yeah, here's another clunky thing. You, equip items by, because this is the PlayStation 4 version. I play all my games on here, because I'm cheap enough to wait for the recording app, of course, is that you use the touchpad. It's kind of cool, but at the same time, when you have a lot of items, it's kind of clunky, so that's me holding the touchpad down. Hold R3 to observe. And... Oh, see? I barely grazed my thumb over it, and it did it. I wasn't doing that on purpose to show my point. That actually was just me, like, barely giving it a love tap. And, you know, the touchpad, you know, it works on a lot for the most part, but I never liked it for that, to be honest. But, you know what? We'll deal.
Aaron. Of course it is. Care to make a little more noise next time?
How else would you know it was me? Basso did tell you we were working together on this, right?
Well, I showed up, so what do you think?
I think you haven't changed a bit. Come on, it'll be just like old times.
You'll notice I kind of took back what I said. I'll go ahead and I guess for those who are interested even in the least bit, I'll go ahead and keep quiet, I guess, so you can hear what's going on in case you know, you don't have time to read it. Well, another thing I kind of like but don't like at the same time about the new Thief game is they made this game kind of too action-y for its own good. And while, you know, that's not such a bad thing.
Glad you could make it.
Did you pick that route because it was fast or because you thought it'd be fun?
Exactly my next... Well, those are going to be my next words, Garrett.
His commission.
It's just, you know, it didn't feel absolutely necessary to add action to the game. But I guess, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Are you going to use
silent
any
and
of
out
those
of sight.
shadows, Lady Lamplight?
I was just scouting ahead. I know you always like to go first.
Lean feature, kind of cool. If I was talking about something, I apologize for forgetting what it was. It'll probably come back to me.
You should get yourself one of these. See you on the other side.
Looks like I won't be going that way.
Oh, see, look, there it was. I was pressing the touchscreen again.
Summer's day is over.
Why not drink to a job well done first?
We can't just leave the cart out.
Okay, also, if I do a second run, I'm gonna go for the completionist the second time around. I'm not too worried about missing anything this time around, honestly. Yeah. One thing they got right, one thing that I definitely can't get enough of in this game, the absolute thing they got right is when you take something, you take it.
Jealous of the claw? I made it myself.
I'm sure the Watch will be very impressed. They'll certainly hear us coming.
They'll have to catch me first.
Just be aware of your surroundings.
It's not about taking in the sights, Garrett. It's about taking in the loot.
And yelling about exactly what you're gonna do.
You do still steal, right?
I've been stealing since before you could crawl.
There's the Garrett I know. How about a friendly wager? Let's see who can take in the most.
Ugh, Aaron, I'm starting to remember why I don't really like you. I mean, there is a little bit of plot development to reveal why she's kind of like that, so I guess all I have to say is just bear with her until we get to that plot. But even then, it's still like, eh. Because like I said, I haven't beaten the whole game yet, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I will pretty much let you know when I am at the point where I don't know what's going to happen.
You and me out on the town? Why did we stop doing this again?
Do you really need to ask?
I sure don't need to ask. Alright, let's go ahead and... If I do see... contrary to what I just said a couple seconds ago, if I do see it, I will try to go for it. But otherwise, I'm not going to be actively looking for every little bits and bob.
It pays to keep a low profile in places where I'm not welcome.
Oh, and you know, that is another thing when I was talking about earlier. What I like about the original Thief game is, what sets it apart is you definitely have to play very differently if you want to get the same result. And what I mean by that is, in the original Thief game, the way you move about and perform your actions in the original Thief game will not necessarily get you the exact same result. Like control-wise, how everything feels, how everything moves. It's like, well, you know, because the AI was a lot more stupid in the good old days. The AI is not so much smarter in this, but it's definitely like where you can't just like skeeve it your whole way like in the original game. I mean, don't get me wrong, the challenge in the original game was still there, and we can read that whenever I feel like. Not gonna necessarily read documents unless they pertain to my case. And, oh god, what was I talking about? I keep distracting myself. And, ooh, for dramatic effect, whoosh. And, oh yeah, and so, like, you know, using arrows in the original game doesn't necessarily make a lot of noise, not unless it was a noise-maker arrow. Whereas in this game, any arrow makes noise, I believe. You know, just little things like that. And while I do appreciate that they're trying to make it more of a challenge in a way, it doesn't make it more of a challenge so much as it's more things you gotta worry about to keep the game from screwing you over. And sometimes they do it right, sometimes they do it wrong. Like I said, I got very mixed feelings about this game. I love it and don't at the same time.
The ale has to go somewhere, dear. I'm just the middleman. Besides, you're the only one watching.
Every day I'm reminded what a catch you were.
Come on, let's go try those gabble wings.
Gabble wings? Dude, one thing, another thing, you know, that kind of irks me about this game. Well, you know, I really should stop. It's not really fair to the game. Ooh, right, sonogram. But is that there's not a lot of reference to the original game in terms of like, ooh, there's a Burke, ooh, there's the undead. And while, you know, I do appreciate some of it, it is kind of a bummer not getting to see some of it. Like, you know, I could be just nitpicking as a fan of the original series. I admit that, but you know.
It's not how much you steal. It's what you steal.
And how you steal it. Looks like this primal stone thing that Basso wants is in the ceremony room at Northcrest Manor.
It's the Baron's mansion. Won't be easy.
Worried?
Yes, and so should you.
We'll be fine. I'll pick up your slack.
This job's getting more complicated by the second.
Okay, where were we and how did we find out that it would just be there? Whatever. If you stay out of sight for long enough, alert enemies will pretty much screw off. Vittori may need some help. Go see him at Siren's Rest in Riverside. Who the heck is Vittori? Okay, interesting thing. I'm going to try and be a historian here about the original series. Basso, right? The guy Aaron just mentioned? Basso, the boxman in the original series. Remember, this is like 500 years ahead in the future.
That's a lot of guards.
But back then, he played much more of a minor role, although he had like a huge part in the very first mission of the second game in the original series, where you rescue this chambermaid he's trying to be betrothed.
But then again,
that is pretty much a slave in this one lady's manor. And yeah, you know, in this game he has a way bigger role, although it's still pretty kind of insignificant to what it could have been, if you ask me. But it is kind of nifty. That's what I'm talking about. It's cool that they brought back a Basso, you know, whether it was necessary or not. But at the same time, I'm sad that there's no like Burks or anything. Oh shit.